Oi, oi, it's getting real. Getting real with the Cockney Buddha. Hope everybody's good out there and having a great week. Great start to the work week. What are you learning out there? It's all lessons. Take those lessons in. This one is going out there because, I just had a bit of a laugh with my daughters. They just gone out and they're going up the shop. Get some groceries. And I thought, you know what? Hang on a minute. Ain't it Father's Day coming up? I think it might be this Sunday, right? I'm not sure. So this one is a big shout out to all the dads out there. And a big shout out, of course, to those dads that have that, have those mentals going on. Well done, well done, well done. And to all those that are looked up to like dads. And I think I'm going to start off with my own dad and saying, even though my dad ain't around, he's been gone for many years now. He passed away. I was in the US for 5 days and then he passed away. So he's been gone for quite a while. I've been here for coming up 30 years this year. So, but a big old well done to all the dads out there that are got the Father's Day coming up. And I also wanted to say, well done to those that work on their minds on a daily basis on it, whatever way, shape or form that may be. Because I know I've had those conversations, especially with my oldest daughter, but I've had those conversations with my daughters where I've stood in the living room and been apologising for things that I've done or what may have happened, and I've also said my apologies for really, I'm human, and they've seen effects of the anxiety and my anger and my depression, and my oldest daughter has, anxiety, and my youngest, I know there's issues there as far as especially with anger and stuff, and I get it, and I've said those apologies because I think we can go swanning through life and think that because we're dads that we're not having that kind of negative effect. We think it's all a positive effect, and that's not the case. We may be doing things that is not very good. It may have been done to us, or it may have been, we may have heard things said or seen things done a certain way and thinking that's right. But it's a matter of having an awareness about it and then changing it. I know I've changed quite a bit. I still sometimes slip into certain ways, and I get it. Like I say, we're always human, right? We're all human, And there's no real book on being a dad. I didn't really look. I'm sure there is titles out there on being a dad, but how can you follow that? Yeah, it's right. It's a completely different story. All of a sudden, there's a human being. It's like, whoa, hold up a minute. On chapter 3, paragraph 4, it says this is not meant to happen at this point. Yeah, all right. Right. But I tell you what, there was not a prouder moment when my first daughter was born, and big ups to my wife. Holy shit, man! I tell you what, I was there for both of my kids' births, and my wife had C-section for both, and my first daughter, it was it was a case of waiting it out, and then them saying, okay, yeah, this ain't happening. We're gonna, do the seat. And I had the scrubs on and all that. I felt like I was in some kind of drama. And I went in there and saw my Dr. Jakubowski. I don't know if anybody knows that doctor, but he was an amazing guy. I loved that dude. He was such a great guy, from Poland, this fella. And when I was big into my heavy metal and freaking nut job, right? I had a big old goatee, a long goatee, and he used to call me a Viking. He used to be, you Viking, he used to go, and he used to grab his chin. But, we used to have some laughs. But, and then, when it got down to some serious business, especially when my second daughter came along, that was shit yourself time. And I don't mean fear of having a baby, because God, the planning was done. You know what I mean? So it was, no, we wanted the baby, but we didn't expect the doctor to turn around and say, I think she's trisomy 18. Yeah, go and look that up. Trisomy 18. Go and look that up. I can see it like yesterday, sitting in that doctor's place, and it was all, in my opinion, right? In my opinion, seeing what happened, and especially looking back after the event and everything, and the people I've told and that as well, they're like, yeah, what the fuck with that, right? He kept pushing for an amnio because we was a little bit older when we had my second one. And not old, but a little bit old, up there a little bit more than, people saying, oh, shoot, okay. But we were healthy and everything, and he was pushing for one of those amnios. Is it called an amnio? Is it amniocentesis or something? I might have that completely. I probably friggin' said something completely wrong, but I think that's what it's called, where they have to go down with the needle, right? And we didn't want anything done because it started the first thing he said was, oh no, that was after, sorry. So was that before? I can't remember. It was either before or after. He was saying that our daughter was going to be Down syndrome as well. I think it was before, maybe, because I remember my wife and I talking, and I'm like, okay. So we'll figure it out. It just means there's, learning and all that to do. Of course, you don't get landed with something and then all of a sudden go, oh yeah, I know everything to do. And no, I knew there was going to be like learning involved and a learning curve and frigging like figuring shit out. I know that, but we would have done it. My wife and I looked at each other and we're like, okay, no biggie, we'll figure it out. And then we got landed with that. And I remember sitting in the freaking office looking at this guy. Anybody that knows me real well knows I'm not particularly happy with the system and everything and the way it's so corrupt. Holy shit, man. But I remember sitting there looking at this guy, and he had a stone cold face. No bedside manner whatsoever. Just this look on him, this I don't give a fuck look. Seriously, I'm not even kidding. It was this look of, when he said it, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, what's that? And he started going through everything that I ended up looking at him and going, are you telling me like brain dead, like? There's nothing, there's no, and he's like, right, and they don't like, and he's just reporting to me like he's reading it out of a freaking paper, and I'm sitting there just getting more and more wound up with this guy, and then blank, because all of a sudden the freaking it sets in. But anyway, thank God she's okay. He was even going down to this guy when when we sorted all that out and we figured out, no, that ain't what it is, you know, because it was, I don't know, I can't remember. I think it was more testing. I don't know. I really can't remember. All I remember is our doctor, Dr. Jakubowski, was an absolute freaking diamond. Because, you know, we ended up telling him, he's like, oh, you know, blah, 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 blah. There was something else we had to do or something to make sure. I can't remember. My wife is probably going to be listening to this going, well, it did that, da, da, da. Because I remember my mind just going blank, completely blank. But, and I remember coming out of the hospital thinking, what do I do? What do I need right now? And I thought about my you know, all-time legend mate there that I've done a freaking shit ton with. He's like a brother to me, Eric. And I thought, I'll just go over there. So I went over to his work and I walked in and, you know, we lark about all the bloody time. But he knew I was serious when I went round the back of the van that he was working in. And I said, hey, man, can we talk? And it was like, what? Yeah, that was a freaking hard conversation to have. It wasn't an easy bloody conversation. Because it's like you're reliving. It's even now. It's like, I know she's all right and I know everything's good, but you kind of relive it a little bit. It's weird. You know, because it freaking, you would give up everything and anything to make it okay. When you hear something like that, but and then there's the realization that you can't, you know, it doesn't matter what you give up, it doesn't matter what you do, all you can do is friggin' have faith and work on your own mind and things like that. But anyway, it doesn't matter about that really, you know, because it didn't, thank God, touch wood and everything, you know, everything's still good and thank God. But, you know, and then we had my second daughter who came really early, 2.5 months. My wife's just probably freaking screwing my ear off again. I think it was 2.5 months early, but anyway, very, very premature, very small. Again, scares and worries and all that. And people were saying, don't worry about it, you'll be good. And big shout out there to Winter Park Hospital and all the nurses in there in the damn NICU, freaking banging. I'll tell you what, man. Holy shit. I've always said the people that I listen to and rely on are the nurses. I'm telling you now. You get somebody more upfront with you and tell you, don't worry about it. When you've got another one on the other side going, oh my God, and then you know you're getting sent off to all these tests. I've been literally in tests, and the nurse can say, what, you in here? Oh, because I was going for frigging asthma or something, and they're like, no way. And I'm like, son of a bitch, you know how many times I've been wrapped up in the, shit. Anyway, so big ups to Winter Park Hospital when the nurses out there fucking banging, absolute banging. Because my youngest daughter had to have a breathing thing, because there was a few times when she actually stopped breathing at home, and you know, you just like, son of a bitch, that's scary as shit too, boy. Holy crap! When your baby's lips are going freaking blue and there's nothing, it's like just like a limpness there all of a sudden, and they've stopped breathing. What the? Holy shit, man! So we got sent home with a machine, which was scary as ass. That was bleeding well scary, because you constantly. It's all about the machine and that, right? Bearing in mind, we have another daughter as well, which, you know, sadly gets put up in the mix. And, you know, it's all like, even though you try your damnedest. But when I look back, I think, yeah, there's no doubt that there was some, not that I ever wanted my eldest daughter to feel freaking left out or anything, but it's that dad thing, you know, where are you? You do the best that you can, and as long as you're not, like with myself, I'm not meaning any harm to my daughters whatsoever, but I know there's been some things there with my mental health and my anxieties and shit like that, and I apologise for it big time, like bigger than shit, because it's that awareness again. I start becoming aware, especially on this journey. As this journey started growing and it started moving, and I was starting to become aware of who I was, where some of my stuff was coming from, how I was using it, and being aware of the ego as well getting in the way. You don't walk around saying you ain't to blame. Just because you're a dad, it don't mean you ain't to blame for something. There's been times when I've caused shit, argument or something with my daughters, and then I've gone back with the tail between my legs, man, and I've apologised. Boy, oh boy, do I. Wholeheartedly, by the way, with your hand on your heart. It's not one of these, listen, sorry. Doesn't work. Right? And don't think just because you're a dad, you're not up to having to say sorry, because you are. It's part of being a human being. It's part of showing a respect, not only for somebody else, but especially for your family. And I tell you what, it'll make you and your family more solid when they can see the vulnerability, when they can see a vulnerability there. Hey, don't get me wrong, I'll step up to anybody. Trust me. If my family were coming into any kind of harm or anything like that, yeah, don't worry about that. Mala beads are off. I'm not Buddhist now, right? it's game on, right? Right? But it's also me being in touch with me, this journey, and I suggest any dads out there get themselves on some kind of a journey. Whether that be a faith-based journey, or as far as you might be, and I don't pick and judge or divide anybody. I don't divide anybody up. Everybody is a human being. Everybody deserves love. Everybody deserves a way. If we had more of that, we wouldn't have all the bleating shit going on in around the world, right? If we all looked at human beings and all loved each other a little bit better. We won't be going, oh, you owe me this and I've got to take that, and friggin' it's ridiculous, man. Shit. And I don't pick sides. Life is life to me. I had to go at my bloody youngest daughter years ago when I was kind of starting out in this and starting to go, everything deserves to live. And I went completely plant-based and, started following the path of, human beings are human beings and life is life, and that's it. It don't matter how small it is or how big it is. In Buddhism, you do not take it. It's not down to us. So when my youngest daughter one day, it was a mosquito on the scene, she went, what? And I went, what are you doing? It's a mosquito. She's like, it'll bite me. And I'm like, okay. It's doing what it's meant to do, to survive and live. Yes, it wants something to eat. You happen to be the host. But it's just doing what it does, man. It's just, what gives me the right to, if someone comes freaking marching through my door, and they're looking to harm somebody, trust me. You coming in to try and harm any, yeah, of course, I'm gonna, just like a dog would. Yeah, if you're out and you go walking up on somebody real freaking sharpish and they've got a dog, be prepared. You can't get bitten and go, I didn't expect to get bitten. Don't work like that, right? So, follow a path and realise that being a dad is a really important heading to have, because, a lot of people, just because you've had a little one and you've got the title of dad, it doesn't mean that you are. Because it means there's a lot of things involved in that. One of my problems was overprotective. I still am protective. I am very, but if you'd have known me back before this journey, holy shit. Yeah, I was very protective and had to learn and work myself out along with my own therapy to be able to give space and back up and be able to, and it builds the relationship. If you might think it just pushes it away, and I'm not saying that's for everybody, I'm just talking about myself and my relationship with my daughters, because it's the most important thing. Those moments I get now that when my daughters go, hey, do you want to come and grab a cup? Shit, yeah, I'm in. Everything can go on hold. I'm in. Yeah, it's important. And I think when I first started out as a dad, I wasn't this dad. I admit it. I wasn't this dad that I am now. I didn't have the kind of leeways that I have now. I wasn't as progressive at all as I am now. I was a bit of a nightmare. Because it was, not saying I was a bad dad, but I wasn't the dad then that I am now. And that takes looking at yourself. It really does. And it takes being able to own up to your shit. Owning up to your shit, saying sorry when you really mean it from a heartfelt place. Changing the habits of what the sorry is for. Don't keep on doing the same habit. Yeah, you might slip. And there's an understanding there. I've said to my kids, I've had that chat. Look, hey, I'm working my frigging arse off on myself, especially when it's to do with my anger and shit. There's many times when I've been able to hold back now, which I'm like so proud of myself for. But I slip. I do slip. I'm human. But those slips, don't look at them as not all bad. Yeah, it's bad. You got some freaking putting a towel between your legs and saying sorry properly. No bullshit. Say sorry properly. And it doesn't mean you got to run out and get gifts and shit like that either, or that's not it. It's not about spending money. It's about you and your compassion and empathy and your sympathy and your support. That's what it's about. Being there when, you may be called upon. I tell you now, when I heard that it was just before COVID, I was just going back to England to visit. And I heard that me eldest was starting to date, and I'm like, uh-oh. That protective bit. But I was on my journey. Not long, but I was on my journey. And I even thought, oh, I'm not going to be there on this meeting, because there was the fella and because my daughter was a lot younger then, but there was the fella and the parents, and there was going to be like my missus and that, and I thought, I'm not going to be there. Now, what did I do? I grabbed the phone straight away. I get a hold of who you just heard about, Eric. I go, hey man, can you be me? And you're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, so don't worry about it. Bosh, done. Yeah. He turned up. He turned up on the meeting so that I had somebody that could be absolutely bloody 100% honest with me and let me know what they think, what their side is. That to me is, it's not me being nasty. It's me, and believe it or not, I can't remember. Somebody said that they liked the fact that I did that. Might have been the dad. I don't know. I can't remember. I think someone said that they liked the fact that I did that, because it just, it's like, hey, no, man. But learn to back up. Learn to back up. Don't be the dad that smothers. Learn to back up. Learn to be able to give that space. Learn to grow that relationship. Because I tell you what, I know I said that I was never going to have kids. I said I'd never leave London. And I said I'd never get married. I broke all 3 rules. Go and check me out, guys. Go and check me out on YouTube, if you will, please. Happy Father's Day to all those dads out there, all those awesome dads, and all those dads that have the pets there, dads to the pets. I'm that too now. Because I tell you what, you may not have the title of dad, but if you're acting the part, you're a dad. There's a lot of people out there that can, be that part, and it doesn't matter. You are a dad. You may not have given birth to the nipper, But I tell you what, there's nothing more appreciated than someone like you that takes them under their wing and shows them a life and what that love is. Well done. Go and check out my YouTube. Please give me a subscribe and a like and some love, you know. And this podcast, go and give me some love and give me some stars or whatever you can do out there. Much love to you all. Thanks a lot for listening and the support that you show. And happy Father's Day.